now party with Fight Party KO.
If you love boxing, like we love boxing, you gotta come party with us at Fight Party KO, baby. Boy, look. Shakur Stevenson hurt his hand sparring. Had to go get emergency surgery. Had to go cancel the Joe Cordina fight. Perfect time. I'm just saying. The hand injury might have been at the perfect time to get out of the Joe Cordina fight. Nobody wanted to see the Joe Cordina fight. I'm just saying. Eddie Hearn knows that. Shakur knows that. So I mean, they might be secretly happy and feel a little bit fortunate that they were able to get out of the fight. Not saying Shakur was faking the injury, not saying it's not a real injury or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? I believe it's a real injury, yeah. But perfect time to get out of that fight. Because Shakur understands, man, he keeps his ears to the streets. He understands that no one wanted to see that fight. And it's a lot of pressure for him to fight big fights and to fight well in fights and things like that. So it's like, he doesn't like disappointing the boxing fans or the boxing community. So let's talk about it.
I seen a lot of people panicking. Like early on, you
people
know,
on your
cause
team.
yeah.
Have
bro.
you seen that?
I seen people panicking.
I mean, let's be honest. Nobody wanted to see the Shakur Stevenson versus Joe Cordina fight. I'm just saying. He moving up from 130. It's his first fight at 135. And he just took a loss. He took a TKO loss. Yeah, I mean, he's ranked 13th as a lightweight. At the time of this recording, Shakur is the WBC lightweight champion. We don't want to see you fighting Joe Cordina. I'm just saying. And Shakur knows that. He keeps his ears on the streets, his eyes on the Twitters. He's always twittering back and forth with somebody. He sees, he can read on there, dude, that's a cherry pick. Ah! You know what I'm saying? He gets offended about that. Dude, you ducking, you a big duck. Ah! He gets offended. He gotta lash back out. You know what I'm saying? He be contradicting himself. He'll say something like, I don't care about the fans, F the fans. I don't care about that, blah, 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 blah. But he gonna read every little sentence on somebody criticizing him, and he gotta lash back out. If you ain't care, buddy, why you reading everybody's comment? Why you lashing back out at him? You see what I'm saying? Because you feel all that mounting up. There's a lot of, like Shakur wants to have that glory that Terrence Crawford gets, that glory that other big fighters like Anthony Joshua gets, Tank gets, and how Andre Ward was, and some of his mentors, Floyd Mayweather. He wants that glory. You see what I'm saying? But he's not getting it right now. And so fighting somebody like Joe Cordina, it's like, and seeing what are all the Twitter's responses and all that, I mean, it's on other podcasts. We didn't want to see Joe Cordina fight no way. He can see that, he can read that. And all that does is just, that pressure just keeps squeezing him. And keeps squeezing him. I mean, it's like that pressure getting tight on him. You see what I'm saying?
Disappointed, you know, for Shakur and for Riyadh season and for Joe.
The Beterbiev versus Bivol fight is kind of tricky and complicated in itself. It was supposed to happen on the undercard of the Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk card, but it got pushed back due to injuries, and now we're here. It's a co-promotion with ESPN and DAZN. Now, it's the first fight that Shakur has had outside of Top Rank, and he's going to be headlining a pay-per-view card. Now, he doesn't have a whole bunch of the UK fans that Matchroom has and all of that, but he's still the biggest name. And so he's going to be like the main ingredient for selling this pay-per-view card. Shakur himself does not like to disappoint the fans. He wants the glory and all of that good stuff. See what I mean? And so, all right, so follow me on this. Check this out. If you are a US subscriber with ESPN, you can watch the Beterbiev versus the Bivol fight with just the subscription prices. But then you got to flip over to DAZN, and that's where they have the pay-per-view, and that is what Shakur will be headlining. Turki Al-Sheikh made him the co-main event, but he's headlining that pay-per-view event on DAZN. Okay, sticking with me. Now, Shakur understands that since this is his first fight coming out, and he has these other big fights, lined up. Williams Zepeda, Lomachenko, Tank Davis. He has these fights lined up. So if he does bad, it's on him. And he understands that. And he doesn't want to lower his stock because he wants those big fights. This pay-per-view doesn't go well. Kind of hurts those chances. So the pressure to do great with a pay-per-view is, it starts to squeeze. There's a lot of pressure on that pay-per-view fight.
Good. I didn't feel good before the fight. Honestly, I already told myself if I'm feeling like this in the ring and if it's not going well, I'm gonna make sure that I box and get the victory.
Now, the main excuses or the main reason that Shakur Stevenson had for that boring fight against Edwin De Los Santos was that he hurt his hand. He said he hurt his hand before the fight happened. He said he hurt it some more during the fight and things like that. And that was the reason for such a boring performance against Edwin De Los Santos. Now, a few days later, he was interviewed by Andre Ward, and he was saying that it was a bunch of other reasons why the fight was a boring fight besides just his hand. He said he had a bunch of things going on. He wasn't feeling good and all that. I don't know if it was something social going on in his personal life or something like that, and maybe mentally he was off. Don't know if he had like some extra phlegm in his chest that he was getting over. Don't know what it was. He didn't want to talk about it on the show. Okay? But he mentioned there was a bunch of other things going wrong besides just his hurt hand and things like that. Now, I'm actually watching the fight itself. When I was watching the fight, I'm listening to the corners. And they're telling him like, hey man, you gotta throw the fight. You gotta throw your hands.
You should have start hitting this nigga with some 1-2s, alright? 1-2s and step over if you want to go. Okay. Alright? 1-2s, okay?
And I'm like, yeah, because you were medically cleared to fight. You got in the ring. You were medically cleared to fight. You got in the ring, and I'm hearing your coaches saying, hey man, you gotta throw your hands, including the one that's hurt. Let's go, man. Let's go. Let's pick it up. Now, every now and then he'll throw it, boom, then but he kind of still was gentle with it. Things like that. And so I'm thinking that, now, mind you, I'm not a professional boxer with a hurt hand. I'm still forced to throw it and things like that. I'm not in those shoes. I ain't not gonna even act like I'm in those shoes. But what I will say is, most of your professional boxers are saying that no one is going in there 100%, man. Okay? No one is going in 100%. All right, case in point. Andy Ruiz versus Big Baby Miller. Andy Ruiz is in there fighting Big Baby Miller and doing this thing round 1 through 4. Really doing his old school quick hands Andy Ruiz thing. And then somewhere around that 4th, 5th round, it started the fight dynamic started to switch up. So now, after the fight, the ring announcers is interviewing Andy Ruiz. It was like his bone just sticking up out his hand like this. Goodness gracious, son. And that happened in the 5th round? And you had the rest of the fight to go? Goodness gracious. Warrior mentality, but he's it was hurting, blah, 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 but he grinning and all that kind of stuff. And he didn't win the fight. It was a draw. Shakur, on the other hand, in the dumps, baby. In the dumps. And he won his fight. Decisive victory, he won his fight, but in the dumps. Hey, Shakur, congratulations on your fight. With my best performance, this, that, and other.
There you go.
Don't congratulate me on a bad performance.
Well, why you feel it was a bad performance coming from you?
It just wasn't me, man. I had a lot going on. I ain't gonna make no excuses. It was a good fight. Just a bad performance and not my standards.
Is your hand hurt?
It's all good. Like I said, I don't make no excuses. I own up to everything. I'm supposed to put on a better performance than that.
He heard the crowd booing the whole time, so he understands that it's going to be a lot of criticism coming up and things like that, and he hates to disappoint the fans in the boxing community. Now, my mindset is, if it was about the hand and you just wasn't feeling good and things like that, fighter with your kind of IQ and your kind of talent and your pedigree, you should want the rematch.
I went ahead.
Tell him rematch that guy. Now, if he beat him, then
They go.
we can get him.
Okay.
I guarantee he won't fight that guy again.
Oh, Edwin.
Yeah, I guarantee.
Okay.
Anytime somebody like Floyd had a close fight against somebody, well, let's run it back then. And he'll dominate. And see, that's the pedigree that we have you on. Like, you supposed to be like up here. So you should want that rematch. You see what I mean? But it's like he doesn't want it at all. Does not want that Edwin De Los Santos smoke no more. To the point to where he trying to push him off on Tank. He like, Tank, that should be your next fight. Nah, son. That ain't how it works. You should want that rematch. But it seems like you don't want that O to be gone. That pressure is just jumping in on you just like that. And so the pressure to keep that O is squeezing and getting tighter. That pressure is tight.
I heard it before the fight. I went in there it's a video. Yo, tell people, pull a video up.
Shakur has had a long history of hand issues. I mean, you will see Shakur like hit somebody hard, clean shot, wham! But then Shakur would grimace as if like he's trying to tell the other guy like what face you supposed to make after I hit you that hard, boy. Like he'll land something, and then Shakur be like, you know, like he got hit. You know what I mean? Like, but it's really his hand is hurting, so he's grimacing from his hand, things like that. It's like he's training too hard or something. Yeah, I mean, are you overtraining, Shakur, in the gym? Are you doing too much in the gym? Like, we know you were around Andre Ward and Terrence Crawford, so we know you understand like what hard work looks like, what good work looks like. But are you working too good and too hard? You know what I'm saying? Pause. Boy, huh? I mean, it's happening too often right now. And for this particular injury, it's like Eddie Hearn said, okay, injured his hand in sparring. We had to immediately rush him out to the hospital. Now, the hand he hurt before the Edwin De Los Santos fight was his left hand. He just had surgery on his right hand. So we know both hands are bad. I mean, he even said it himself after the fight, I'm training too hard. I gotta take a little time away from the gym. Like they interviewing him, he was like, I need to, take a little bit more time away from the gym. I'm training a little too hard. You know that then. You got to calm down just a little bit on training, Shakur. We need your hand. Like, I'm a fan of you, Shakur. Your IQ is high. You got great talent. I want to see it on display. But you got to make it to the ring first to put it on display. I know you really hate being called a boring fighter. I know that. I know you hate being labeled a boring fighter. So you want to really show out on Joe Cordina. So you was going extra hard in training. And then you hurt your hand. We gotta see you in the ring, man. Okay? Shakur, I'm a fan. I wanna see you in the ring fighting. I want to see your brilliance in the ring, not in the sparring camp ring, but in the big lights ring, okay? I know it's a lot of pressure on you to keep that O off of you. But, I mean, understand, don't overtrain, and do your thing.
They don't do what they did to like somebody like me. Like when I'm in a fight where I'm dominant, pressing forward, pressing the issue, coming forward, they still find something to say.
Shakur knows he's at a turning point. He's kind of like at a little cross section in his career where like it can go one or two ways. The first way it can go is he can blossom and become this great American hero, this pay-per-view great superstar boxer. He has the talent, IQ, all that for that. Or it can go the other way. And he get demoted to just being an undercard fighter because he'll get labeled as boring. And Shakur hates that label, hates being called boring. And it's like he doesn't know what's going to happen with Eddie Hearn and Max Room working with Turki Al-Sheikh. This is his first time with him. So, I mean, he might be a little scared, might have a little anxiety on him or something like that. He might be a little worried about it. But we do know that the pressure is mounting on him to be great. And some of that pressure can be applied by himself, like on himself. We the fans, box community, we want him to be great. But he wants that too. And that pressure keeps squeezing and squeezing and squeezing. Shakur Stevenson was not the first and will not be the last boxer to cancel a fight due to an injury. Case in point, Trevor McCombie had to push his fight back a month with Caleb Plant. You have Jack Catterall had to push the fight back with Regis Prograis a few months. Tyson Fury versus Alexander Usyk had to be pushed back a few months. Beterbiev versus Bivol had to be pushed back a few months. So it's been happening and it's going to continue to happen. But notice those fights were pushed back and rescheduled. The Shakur Stevenson versus Joe Cordina fight just canceled altogether. No word of it being rescheduled or nothing like that. I mean, Eddie Hearn's even saying stuff like, yeah, we're trying to find a fight for Joe Cordina right now. We're trying to find another option for him. All this just happened, so we got to find something for him. They didn't say nothing about it was going to be rescheduled. Like Shakur was like, yeah, I was only taking the Joe Cordina fight as a stay busy fight while he was waiting on fighters like William Zepeda. And he was talking about, it was previously reported that his wife was having a baby, so he wasn't ready for the fight. Wrong. He's fighting in November against Tevin Farmer. So it seems like he is ready. Now, this is the first fight since Shakur has been out of top rank. And now he's over here with Eddie Hearn, with Matchroom. And he was screaming for GERVONTA Tank Davis when he was over there top rank, but he couldn't do it. Now he's free. And he was about to fight Joe Cordina. Yeah, I mean, the pressure is on him a lot more now. I mean, piling up on him right now to make these big fights. He said himself, he didn't want his prime years to go to waste. These are your prime years right now. So the pressure he's putting on himself is mounting to make these big fights happen. That pressure starts squeezing and squeezing and squeezing on him. We got to be available to make these fights, Shakur. And you know that.
His team agreed to the fight and then pulled out the fight. How is that not a duck?
And we know that pressure bursts pipes. But pressure also creates diamonds. So what will it be, Shakur? Huh? What will happen to you? Will you become this shining, glistening diamond with perfect clarity? Or will you become leaky sewage? So let us know what y'all think in the comment section, all right? This is your man, ALL Mighty. We got Juice God in the back. Together we are Fight Party KO. And I am signing out. Whew.